Hi everybody, this is Diana, aka Pop Culture Diva 42, and I wasn't planning on doing this video. I wasn't planning on doing any video tonight, but something caught my attention, and now I feel the need to rant about it. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. So this actually started a couple of weeks ago when somebody ran an online poll that asked which was the worst Star Trek movie of all time. And Star Trek Into the Darkness won that poll. Tonight, I read an article where Simon Pegg was asked what he thought about the results to that poll, and his answer was a publicist's nightmare. The answer in a nutshell is that all the fans that did not like Star Trek Into the Darkness can basically go fuck themselves because they're being snobby and arrogant, and you know, it's kind of like when your favorite indie band, these are his opinions, not mine. It's kind of like when your favorite indie band gets to the #1 spot, gets the #1 single, and you start hating it. And it's not fair because Star Trek Into the Darkness made the most money out of all the Star Trek movies, and it was seen by the biggest number of people. So yeah, basically Simon Pegg says fuck you to the fans. And they're being asinine in their opinions. I like Simon Pegg, honestly. Like, how can you not like the guy who made Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Spaced? I even liked Paul, for fuck's sake. But on this statement, he is flat out wrong. He is 50 shades of wrong. Okay, first of all, you do not say fuck you to the fans. As a part of the Star Trek franchise that has made it this far, because of the fans, you do not ever say fuck you to the fans. Even if you believe it. I know it in my Trekkie bones that actors, directors, producers, casting people, everybody from the guy who makes coffee on the movie set to the head of the studio hates fans and thinks that we're all fucking idiots. But they don't say it because that is part of what it means to be a professional in Hollywood. And if you do get the nerve, the refreshing nerve, to say something bad about the fans, you do not use asinine arguments, because Simon Pegg loves that word. You do not use asinine arguments like he did in his quote. The number of people that saw a movie or the box office that it managed to accumulate may be factors in determining its quality, but they're not the determining factors. Especially not in today's world where, honestly, if you want to go social historical on this motherfucker, more people saw Star Trek Into the Darkness because more people have access to American movies than before. You can even go into the fall of communism and to the rise of China, but we're not going to go into that. I'm just saying that there are more theaters in the world today than there ever were. More people have access to information and to American movies. Star Trek Into the Darkness made more money because these motherfuckers at Paramount released it in 3D. So naturally, it's going to make more money. And comparing it to your favorite indie band finally getting a #1 single, no, it's not like that. Star Trek Into the Darkness is kind of like your favorite indie band starting to play dubstep in order to get to that #1 single. And that's why you hate it. But I understand Simon Pegg because you see, he's not speaking as a professional actor. He is speaking as the fanboy who made it. And in typical irrational, immature fanboy tradition, when somebody disses something that you do not like, your typical response is, fuck you. I would expect Simon Pegg, of all people involved with this franchise, to understand the connection that a fan has to something that he or she grew up with, and to respect his or her right to express their opinions online about said franchise and its development. Because unlike Simon Pegg, who has a certain salary, who has a certain job that he loves, who has a certain platform for him to voice his motherfucking opinions, we, as fans, only have the internet. So if Simon Pegg cannot respect the fans' right to express their opinions online because he is speaking out of some emotional place, then he should at least fake that respect, okay? Fake it. Shut the fuck up. Because in this fucked up, messed up world that is Hollywood, faking respect is a form of respect. Now, I'm trying to see this both from Simon Pegg's perspective too, in the sense that it must suck to hear, as a Star Trek fan, that you're part of the worst Star Trek movie of all time. But you know what? You're a professional actor. You have a publicist. Why don't you say something like, I don't know, oh, they said the Star Trek Into the Darkness is the worst Star Trek movie of all time. Well, you know, it is the most recent Star Trek movie that has been released, and it's the freshest in people's minds. So even if, say, there would be other worse movies in this franchise, you know, with Star Trek Into the Darkness, I think a lot of fans may not appreciate the changes that we're making, because of course they love this so much and they don't really want it to become something other than what they grew up with and what they love. But I think that in the long term they will understand that this is part of a relaunch, this is part of a movement. It's a process, it's always evolving, because Star Trek has always evolved, it has gone for several iterations. Even Star Trek The Next Generation, you know, it wasn't very pleasantly viewed, especially after the second season. But in the long term, I'm sure that they will understand that all the efforts that we're making are in order to update this version so that old fans and new fans can come together and we can all enjoy better Star Trek stories.